It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about SEPTA for Eagles ticket holders, but for the rest of us, meh. Another Philly Democrat is running for Congress, a cyclist killed in Fairmount Park, and our neighborhoods are getting upgrades for next year's big birthday. It's Friday, September 5th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week at the Fiddler Club is CityCast Philly executive producer Matt Katz. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Trenae, is it Groundhog Day? Are we talking about SEPTA once again?
We had a party this week at Milk Boy for our CityCast Philly neighbors, and I asked one of them, I said, are we talking about SEPTA too much? And he said no.
I mean, this is what Philly's talking about, and there's still developments like every day when it comes to this. What's the latest?
All right, so last night, FanDuel saved the Eagles game because they provided rides on the express trains to and from the stadium. Because remember, SEPTA was going to cut that.
Yeah, these were the Sports Express trains where they add extra lines because of the tens of thousands of people that are down there. The Eagles initially said this week, don't come to tailgate if you don't have a ticket to the game, which is...
It's nuts.
Yeah, that's like...
Philly is known, if you, like, we're going to go down and tailgate. We don't have a ticket.
Yeah.
The tickets were like $600.
Totally. People like to party beforehand. People will sit in a lot and watch the game from there. People will get on SEPTA, go party there for the tailgate, then go back home, watch a game. It's like a thing. Go to Chicken Pete's. That's a thing. Eagles are like, no, don't come because of the SEPTA cuts. It's going to be too crazy down here. And then FanDuel, of all places, the sports betting site, a company that makes money off of Eagles fans betting on games, came with some money to get those trains back on track.
And people are like, yay, but also like, nay, because it's kind of like, why does a company have to save a city's mass transit crisis?
Yep. This is a public good, getting people around the city. It is public transportation. And why isn't the public, our government, supporting this? And the reason is we do not have a state budget yet, a budget that was due July 1st, a budget that is hung up on the fact that SEPTA and the other transit agencies in the state are looking for money. SEPTA has a deficit of over $200 million, and we're waiting on the state to do something, but still nothing, right? I mean, there's still nothing coming from Harrisburg in terms of resolving this budget and this transit crisis.
No, Matt, there is. Remember everyone saying soon?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyways, the city gave SEPTA some money to keep the agency moving because kids were literally not showing up to school or they were late because their bus routes or the way that they get to school, regional rail or the trolleys or whatever, were cut.
Yes, right. The school district reported that 64% of schools in the first week of school had an increase in tardiness from last year. 54% had more absences, like literally... Because of this crisis, kids were not getting to school.
First week of school.
Yes. So the city came through with some of that money, like you said, but that only restored service on some lines.
Also, a part of this SEPTA crisis, late last week, a judge had ordered the second wave of SEPTA cuts to the regional rail and that looming fare hike to be put on pause. So that meant that instead of paying the $2.90 fare increase, folks are still going to be able to pay the $2.50 fare. But some key card holders actually got charged that $2.90 fare, and SEPTA said they were going to be issuing refunds on that.
What a mess. What a mess.
It's like a patchwork of maintaining our public transportation for a major U.S. city.
Yes.
It's nuts.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And then looking for a betting company to bail some of us out. The Inquirer editorial board this week said, quote, the city's school children can rightfully ask why the struggles of football fans, with at most a dozen home games a year, have gotten so much more attention than their own. So my son, who I've talked about on the show, who's taking a bus to school for the first time every day, a SEPTA bus, his bus route has not been restored to pre-crisis levels. So it is so crowded that he has described getting on the bus as him and his friends have to do the tush push to get on the bus. So he's talking about the play that the Eagles do to get across 1 or 2 yards to get a first down by pushing each other's tushes. And that's how crowded his buses are.
A mess. Meanwhile, there was news that Uber was like, hey, we'll help too. What?
Yeah, they have offered to be taxed. They have offered for their rides to get a special tax that would go to public transit if its drivers are reclassified as independent contractors and not employees, because that would save the company much money on benefits and labor protections. So another deal with a company, a corporate entity coming in to bail out a public good.
What have our elected officials been doing about this?
There's a lot of talking.
Lots of talking. Remember that soon.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
Social media videos and press conferences and rallies in which they keep saying a deal is coming soon.
And walking.
Yes. State Rep Malcolm Kenyatta walked 105 miles from Philly to Harrisburg. He arrived beginning of this week. I think it took him 3 or 4 days. And he did that to protest the cuts to SEPTA and the fact that this is being held up by the Senate Republicans in Harrisburg. But his walking did not appear to have any effect. It didn't seem to move rural Senate Republicans. They were like, oh my God, Malcolm Kenyatta walked 105 miles. Let's give Philly what it needs. It didn't really work.
Yeah.
But maybe it called a little bit more attention to what's happening. At least, I don't know.
Outside, I don't know. Maybe
Appreciate the effort.
Right. It's admirable that you decided to walk that many miles over a long holiday weekend. However, we got to get a deal done. We've got more news after the break. The Pottery Spottery, a paint-your-own pottery studio, is now open. The studio is located at 1805 East Passyunk Avenue. It's fun and easy. Simply choose an item to paint, like a gnome, a mug, a unicorn, or a flower pot. You can choose your favorite colors and then paint. They have over 100 items to choose from, starting at just $15. One price includes time in the studio, everything you need to create, and firing of your masterpiece in their kiln. The Pottery Spottery fires your creation for you, so don't worry about that. You don't need a reservation, and you can actually reserve their large back room for parties. The grand opening is Friday, September 12th. Learn more at thepotteryspottery.com. So we got the SEPTA crisis. Pennsylvania's budget is still delayed. And Governor Josh Shapiro said this week that the state is braced for the Trump administration to send National Guard troops to Philly.
It feels like we're next in this whole thing where Trump is sending troops to cities to supposedly quell crime. D.C., L.A.
Chicago.
Chicago is potentially next.
Potentially next, yeah.
Feels like we could be after Chicago.
Baltimore's on the list, too. So this is strange because we've seen, at least in Philly, our crime numbers have gone down.
Yeah, I mean, the irony of all of this is that Philly, by homicide statistics, is the safest it's been in our lifetime. It's incredible. 2021, there were 562 homicides in the city. This was a big spike, post-pandemic high. Murders were up throughout the country. That number dropped to 269. That's almost half last year. And then Philly Mag did the math this week, and there have been so far 18% fewer homicides than that. So fewer homicides this year compared to last year. And if we stay on that track, if the rate holds, we will end 2025 with fewer homicides than any year since 1966. It's incredible. So if Trump sends in troops,
thousands of troops, let's add that.
What is the justification, really? I mean, if public safety is looking relatively good, I mean, we don't want more than 200 people being shot and killed in the city every year. That's terrible, obviously, and it's still too much. But there's been dramatic progress here. 1966, the city was a different place.
Also this week, what came out in some headlines is that on Tuesday, a federal judge ruled that the Trump administration violated the law by sending these troops, and we're talking National Guard, in some cases Marines, basically sending the military to enforce these civilian laws.
Yeah.
So there's a big question of like, okay, well, what would Pennsylvania do to kind of push back?
Right.
And in the past, Shapiro has sued the Trump administration. And we know and we've seen District Attorney Larry Krasner kind of be outspoken against the Trump administration. So I guess to sum up, basically, the powers that be are prepared to like handle this if we're on the list.
Yeah, but we don't know how much power they might have, right? And
True.
They could sue, but that could take a little bit of time. If Trump wants to send tanks into North Philly to arrest people smoking blunts on their stoop, then I don't know if Shapiro or Krasner or anybody can do anything about it. Meanwhile, we have an interesting election brewing in the city that will really affect like our voice in Washington for the last 2 years of the Trump administration. So Dwight Evans, local Philadelphia congressman for the 3rd District, he has announced he's retiring, not running again in 2026. And that means there is a vacancy for the 3rd congressional district seat. It's a highly Democratic district. So really the race is going to be in the spring when there's the Democratic primary. And this will determine essentially who we sent to Congress. So this race got even more crowded this week. Morgan Cephas, state representative, announced her candidacy. You interviewed her a few weeks ago, and she definitely hinted that this was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were like expecting it. And I'm like, well, maybe she's going to wait to fix the transit situation in Harrisburg because she is a state rep. But she's like, no, I gotta jump in now. So she will be running against State Senator Sharif Street, who until recently was the chair of the state Democratic Party. He's got some name recognition. His father was Mayor John Street. So that's something of an establishment lane, I think. I mean, this is somebody with name ID who clearly has connections in the Democratic Party that run deep, given the fact that he was running the party for a few years. You also have State Representative Chris Robb. He's running likely what they say is probably going to be a more progressive, left-leaning candidate. Then there's somebody running who's not a politician at all, Dr. Dave Oxman, an intensive care physician. He's in the race. I don't yet know how these candidates will distinguish themselves ideologically. It does seem like there might be some difference between State Rep Robb and the others, but I don't really know where Morgan Cephas might land in this regard. Her announcement video didn't indicate that she's going to run on anything other than the typical things that a Democrat might run on. But I sort of wish these folks, particularly the 3 candidates who are state legislators, I do wish they would solve the SEPTA crisis before the campaign starts. That seems like my priority. Mm-hmm. And then we can deal with the campaign for Congress.
All right, we've got some sad news to report this week at the intersection of Belmont Ave and the Avenue of the Republic in Fairmount Park. Police say 2 cars were driving fast on Belmont Avenue when one of the cars crashed into a cyclist. The cyclist was thrown off his bike and suffered critical injuries. He was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. The cyclist, his name was Harry Fenton, and he was from the Washington Square Society Hill neighborhood. He was 67. Philly Bike Action actually posted on their Instagram page that he was a member of their organization, and they're going to hold a moment of silence in his honor today.
I know that area well where Harry Fenton was killed. I go biking through there to go over to Belmont Plateau to go into the woods and do some mountain biking.
And cars drive fast up and down that avenue all the time.
Yeah. And this is a park. And it should not be a place where you can necessarily speed through like that. I mean, it's an unusual park. I mean, there's, big roadways through there, but you do wish there was, more safety for joggers, cyclists, kids, pedestrians.
And I do think that there's definitely room to add bike lanes on that corridor.
Totally.
Or even like some like speed humps or something like that.
But as we've talked about many times, like getting bike lanes anywhere in the city is tough. And actually today from 5 to 7:30, hundreds of cyclists are expected to be protesting over the concrete barriers for the bike lanes on Spruce and Pine Streets, We are expecting concrete barriers to protect the bike lanes on Spruce and Pine in Center City after a cyclist was killed when a car went into the bike lane. But there was an internal city memo that revealed that they might only get the concrete curb protection on half of the bike lanes on Spruce and Pine. So this protest today is opposing that. They want full protection on the bike lanes, and they're going to go from the Art Museum over to Dilworth Park. So if you're driving around or walking around or cycling around and see a crowd of cyclists on Friday around rush hour, that's what's going on there.
All right, we'll be back after this break. All right, soon we will be seeing 20 large Liberty Bells around the city.
Why?
Because of America's 250th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
This is called the Ring It On campaign,
Bring
so to
It
speak.
On campaign?
No, ring it on, like hit the bell, ding.
It sounds like a Mayor Sherelle Parker saying. I feel like she always comes up with catchphrases.
Yes, it is. It's
Ring it on.
Ring it on. So the city will boost already existing neighborhood festivals, block parties, neighborhood cleanups. So essentially supporting organizations that are already on the grounds in our communities. This is all around the semi-quincentennial celebrations of America's 250th birthday. The city is going to focus also on sprucing up, cleaning up 20 commercial corridors. They're going to be hanging decorative banners all over the place. There's going to be commemorative benches and planters and streetscape improvements.
All right, I'm down for that.
Tours, and also these decorative Liberty Bells.
Oh, like neighborhood tours?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're getting a bunch of upgrades for the celebrations. My thing is this, while that is great to, support our neighborhoods and existing community organizations, I hope that it brings dollars to small businesses. I hope that people can get jobs and employment through this. And I hope that these efforts can last for many generations.
You're looking for things that will have long-term impact.
Exactly.
Not just like a temporary sprucing up of a neighborhood.
And not it being focused on specific neighborhoods.
They're doing these block parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that going to work? The city is running these block parties, or?
Yeah, so they're going to provide these life, liberty, and happiness kits.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to have 250th themed swag and toys and decorations and healthy living tools and resources to blocks. I mean, over the years, we did see less block parties in our neighborhoods because people weren't given approval for block parties, because if you lived in a high crime neighborhood, you weren't getting it.
Huh. They weren't approving them.
Right. So there was a decrease in block parties. But
that sucks.
With these toolkits, with this city focused on the 250th party, hopefully our neighborhoods will get some upgrades.
Great. I imagine the block captains are central in this. I saw some chatter this week that block captains would be involved. I don't have a block captain as far as I know. I don't know if I ever knew of a block captain on my block. Do you have a block captain?
I don't know. If I do, no one knows. But my block is organically friendly and community and family focused,
right,
because of our own efforts. But maybe we should be our block's block captain.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I'm sure we could.
Especially if there's nobody who's the current block captain. I wonder, maybe we should figure out how to do that. That would be kind of an interesting civic experiment. How do we even do that? How do you become a block captain?
We did do an episode on CityCast Philly on how you can become one. There is a link in the show notes.
Cool. All right. Let's try it out.
All right.
Trenae for block captain.
Matt for block captain. Man, that's some more responsibilities.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right. Well, maybe we're looking to fill out a block captain application. Matt, what else are you doing this weekend?
Yo, I'm playing Powerball.
Yo.
Third largest jackpot in U.S. history. we're at $1.7 billion.
I would give somebody.
I was about to ask you,
SEPTA.
how much would you give?
Trenae save SEPTA. Trenae save the city.
They renamed the Broad Street line the Trenae line.
Yes.
So, okay, well, wait. It's $1.7 billion, but the government takes most of it. So you actually only walk away with $770 million.
Still enough money to support SEPTA.
So the SEPTA needs $213 million.
Oh, we have more
So would
for
you
a
do
rainy
that?
day.
So you're going to give $213 million to SEPTA, and then that means you're only left with like, I don't know the math, but like $550 million?
Yeah, so then I would buy maybe a couple of Eagles tickets.
Right. That's all you can afford, two
Right.
Eagles tickets.
And pay off some bills.
And would you stay in Philly?
I think I would. It would be like one of those things, people say, if I won the lottery, there would be signs. I still think I would work, but just be like a quiet investor in things.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I like that. I think I would get one of those, like the penthouse apartment in Center City on William Penn's eye level.
Okay.
Like I want to be as the height of William Penn on top of City Hall so I can like look him in the eye in the morning.
Or you would be looking through his eyes.
Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. Also, if I win the $1.7 billion, when I win the $1.7 billion, I'm not going to be able to make it to Monday morning's 10 a.m. meeting for CityCast Philly. Just to give you, if I don't show up to that Zoom call, you know what happened.
There will be signs. You know who could use this money?
Who's that?
Malcolm X Park on 52nd Street.
Wow, what's going on there?
Because they are building new nature-based play spaces for kids. So if you want to get involved in the community this weekend, head over to Malcolm X Park on 52nd Street in West Philly on Saturday, September 6th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join your neighbors. They need help with digging holes and building play structures. No experience needed. They have equipment. Get involved.
Cool. That's great.
Now, if you want to eat ice cream and desserts and listen to music, head over to Sweet 45. This is a new dessert bar and listening room that's opening in Fishtown this weekend. Check them out. And I've got to shout out an episode that we did this summer. I spoke with owner Siobhan Anderson, the owner of Philly's first women's sports bar. Marsha's is going to open. They have a date. They're opening on September 19th. We're telling you a little bit earlier because they made the announcement this week. So mark your calendars, September 19th. Head over to 430 South Street.
That's great. Congratulations to them. I'm sure the Eagles-Rams game on September 21st will be jammed there.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to Marsha's.
South Street is going to be busy. We were just on South Street this week.
Yeah. As you mentioned earlier in the show, we had this great event with our neighbors, the people who have become members of CityCast Philly. We did this event upstairs at Milk Boy, right across from Jim's at South and Fourth. And it was such a wonderful event. We loved meeting our listeners, the readers to Hey Philly. It felt like there was one of everybody from the city there. It was so fun and interesting to talk to folks and to talk to them. We talked to them a lot about South Street and their members on South Street. And the reason we did that is because beginning next week, we have a short series, a 3-part series that we're airing on the history of South Street. Trenae has done like dozens of interviews, and we have some cool stories that go back to colonial times. So we hope you check out the podcast next week for our 3-part series on South Street.
Yes. So we've got a little clip to tease it up.
Here's the South Street guys.
Cheers. The CityCast Philly team and I are sitting at a table at Tattooed Moms, a bar on South Street between 5th and 6th Streets. We're sitting upstairs. The walls are covered in stickers and posters. And oh yeah, we put ours up there too. We're here talking about our favorite memories on South Street. So why are we even here? Why are we even talking about South Street?
Well, we wanted to do a series of shows looking at the history of South Street because it is fascinating and there's been plenty of ups and downs. I mean, the first theater in the country was down the block from where we are right now. I mean, you have Head House Square, which is from the colonial era. You have this compelling political history where you had fights over civil rights going back to the mid-1800s happening on these blocks. And then a fight 100 years after that over an attempt to blow up South Street and put an expressway here. So I think it's such a microcosm for the city itself and for the experiences that people living in a urban center have as they relate to the culture and the government and everything else.
But first, before we even get deeper than that, South Street wasn't even called South Street. It was Cedar. Ooh. So be on the lookout for the South Street series next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right, Matt, before we go, we have to do our CityCast Philly neighbor shout-outs. And I'm excited about Richard K., a new member. And I think you're related to him.
I think I am. Thanks for joining us, Dad. Appreciate it.
As a CityCast Philly neighbor, you get great perks like merch, invites to our member-only events, and I'll shout out your favorite business or nonprofit on the show. So head over to membership.citycast.fm. All right, Matt, thanks for joining me this week on CityCast Philly.
Thanks, Trenae. Have a great weekend.
That's all for us here today on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our producer is Abby Fritz. Our Hey Philly newsletter editor is Siani Colon, and our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed this week of episodes, please share it with a friend. Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back Monday morning with our South Street series and more news around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.